Welcome to the Julie Giordana podcast. I am so excited to have my daughter, my son-in-law, Jade and Jess LaFleur, and so honored to have y'all today. And I know we've been talking about this for a long time, and so it's just perfect timing for you to be with me. And we want to talk about a little bit. There's so many people praying, a lot of girls and guys like praying for their person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like their wife, their husband. Many times in our lives, like our parents have been praying for a long time and praying with you. And I remember Jade through the years, like I said, even in junior high, and you and Kelsey really getting infatuated with weddings and your person. You know what I mean? Like just really believing. I remember at a youth group too that one of the pastors, when we would go to the conferences, and they would always say, the person that's running with you on your right or your left, that's who you're looking for, not someone missionary dating or something like that.
You're going to have to turn around and go in.
But someone that's living life in the same belief system and the Lord and same principles and values. And I think that's what's been so good to see the years and through high school, through college, and even into your adult life when you were leading worship, you were just standing and believing. And so many prophetic words came and said, like, when you meet him, it's going to be a whirlwind. It's all going to happen so fast. And boy, was it. But I just wanted you to share a little bit in the waiting. How do you really feel like the Lord kept you during that time?
Yeah, I feel like one of the most valuable things that I received in the waiting was just realizing that like God really was enough, and he like sustained me. And I think it's so easy to, when you're praying for something, you're so focused on that thing. Like I'm praying for a healing, so I'm focused on healing. I'm praying for a husband or a wife, you're focused on that and not really on the Lord.
Yeah.
And so I think I feel like the Lord just really taught me to focus on him, and like he's the sustainer. He is everything that I need. And did I get it right all the time? Absolutely not. But he was there in the middle of it, giving me grace to wait, but also to seek him in the waiting. Like he's the point. He's the purpose. He's the goal or the prize. But then later when it was the right time, he was making me whole. He was making me a wholehearted woman that I was ready to receive a husband and not need all these things from him to fulfill me.
Right.
That really Christ was able to fulfill me in those areas. So I was able to give and not need him, to fulfill me in those areas.
So Jess, why don't you share a little bit about how y'all first met?
Yeah, so how we first met. So a little bit before then, Miss Paula Rayleigh, she
Pastor Paula,
Pastor Paula Rayleigh, she reached out to Grammy and maybe even Mimi, my grandmothers. They were kind of my wingman there, I guess. But Pastor Paula reached out to my grandmothers and was like, "Hey, by the way, I've heard your son is at Bethel right now. Jade is at Bethel." And so they both, I don't know if they both knew it, but I'm pretty sure they both sent me screenshots of like your Facebook profile. And so I like saw your face and I was like, huh, that's cool. Okay. There's, no, I thought you were very beautiful,
so beautiful.
But here's what I was about to say. I thought you were very beautiful, but how many people were in first year? Like over 1,000. And
cool.
And I'd never seen you before. So I was like, yeah, she's very beautiful. I don't know if we'll ever cross paths.
Yeah.
Right.
And so like I had seen your picture twice now at that point. And so we're in the coffee line one day, and during first year, I think the first 6 months, they say like, don't date anybody, because just like really allow the Lord to begin working in you, because it was basically like trust the process of ministry school and just give yourself grace to not be distracted.
Yeah.
And so it was still during that time. So I was in the coffee line at school, and I turned around and I saw Jade and Emma. Was Emma with
I
you?
think I was just by myself.
Okay. And I turned around and I was like, I know this person. How do I know this person? And then it clicked,
Wow.
And so I introduced myself and we chatted for a second. And so that was how we first met.
Right.
January of 2019.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think both of our minds were still in like,
Yeah, we're just focused
we
on the
shouldn't
Lord.
date right now. Just
Yeah.
on the
Well, it
Lord.
wasn't at that point. I think we were just kind of saying hi to each other.
Yeah, but I think it was just
It was just hot.
like
We were,
you
like, trying to
weren't
date each other.
initially so drawn to me.
Right. But also too is
Because we
that
got
was kind of at the end a little bit of the first year, so you're not quite sure. Like
Right.
Jay wasn't quite sure she was going back for a second year or not.
Right.
So she was
Right.
kind of
Right.
in the, praying
Yeah,
about
it was
that
kinda
as
middle.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So y'all come back, and I know during the summer, then
Yeah.
y'all had reconnected.
Yeah, yeah. So during the summer, my mind kind of switched. Like, all right, well, we're done the first year, so let's, I think when I reached out first, it was more like, hey, I'm in town.
But you live local. Y'all both,
Yeah, we
y'all,
live
yeah.
local, yeah.
Which is
and-
really funny how you meet
Yeah, we
there
never knew
in
each other.
Redding, California, and then
California.
all of a sudden you're back in the same town and that
Wow.
you're
Never
grew
knew
up.
each other.
Yeah.
So I reached out just because, when you're on break from school or something like that, and you come back home, chances are people are still working and busy and things like that. So I was like, man, I would love to like connect with somebody, hang out with somebody. So I reached out to Jade to see if she was still in town, and she was, and so that kind of sparked our friendship. But honestly, pretty quickly, I was like, I'm not thinking about not dating anymore.
Yeah.
I kind of.
But tell me a little bit about the first date, Jade. I want to hear from Jade on the first date.
First date or like the first time we met or hung
No,
out?
when y'all went out to eat and he shared his heart.
Oh.
At
at Tio Anita.
That's
Oh
the
my
place.
goodness.
That's a romantic setting.
Yeah.
Dude,
Oh my goodness.
Tijuana's
Well,
Mexican.
I was just very much I'd gotten out of like a short-term relationship previously, like in that earlier that year or the last year. And so I was just really like, I'm focused on the Lord. I really just I need to take a break from this whole dating scene so I can just really get all that God has for me. And so when Jess told me that he told me he was interested in me
On the first date.
on our first first real date.
Hey, shoot your
And
shot.
I literally just shut down. I was just like, I don't even know what I said, but I was just like, basically no. Like, just no.
That's so wrong.
Like,
And
alrighty
Jess
then.
was like so confused why I was just shutting him down
She
because
kept saying yes to hanging out and like going places with me.
okay.
and- so I was
yeah,
like,
I was
really
very
read the
mixed
wrong
message.
signal.
I was giving mixed messages, not on purpose, mainly because I was like, I like him as a friend. I'm not trying to like him. I just want to hang out with him. But then the more I kept saying yes to things, the more I got to know him. And then I realized, okay, I really do like him a lot.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how
So
it.
then y'all
Pretty
go
on the
back to
inside.
Reading at this time for second year,
So then we go back for second year for ministry school.
and things really
Yeah.
are really
Picked up.
connected.
Yeah.
Yep. And kind of what you were saying earlier, one of your first comments, like looking to your right and your left, not some like random place. One of the things that just, I think being around internationals so much and just people from all over the world, it was so exciting. Like, is this going to be a ministry partner or a friend for life or whatever?
Yeah.
And it was really cool and adventurous thinking in that way, like the people around you. But when I met Jade, it was like a little piece of home was there. Because like we're surrounded by all these amazing people from different cultures, but like it was that like, oh my gosh, like she's like from the right and left of me. She's from my,
Wow.
and so like the way we talked, and then I don't know, it was just like, oh man, she feels like a little piece of home. And so, and obviously the more we dated, the more we
Yeah.
experienced that. So
So Jade, when did you really feel like he's the one? Where he gets by to just dating, and we're all in ministry school, so you're immersed in the presence of God and worshiping together. You have, you know what I mean? So there's the teachings you're getting, and you're getting really some deep deposits of the word, and you had already gone to college, Jade, and so you had already been working in the workplace and decided to go to this intern program. And so, but it was like really neat how it was just past just dating, and then you're like, he's the one.
Yeah.
So
I would agree with what Jess said. It did feel like he was home to me, and I felt like I could just completely be myself. I didn't have to put on a front or be someone I kind of wasn't so that he would like me. I just got to be fully myself, and I was loved for that. And so that was just like, I'm so glad that I don't have to be someone different, like for you to like me. But I think it was probably like November. Jess had told me he loved me until like, I think we were dating for like 2 months, and he told me he loved me, and I was like, I don't think I'm ready to say that yet. But a little bit of time had passed, and I got to see his heart for me, and I got to see his love for me. And I realized, like, okay, this is just who I want to spend the rest of my life with. So I think it kind of built from that place, from that timeline. So
what about you, Jess?
Yeah, as the one on that side of things, I had never felt like that before. Like, oh my gosh, like this is the one, or whatever. Relationships weren't done in the smartest of way, previously with me. But when I met Jade, it was just this understanding of like, wow, I think this, like, I'm gonna go all in for the first time, and if it doesn't work out, then it's worth the heartbreak. I never like put myself in that position or even thought that way before. And so I remember even when I was just like, I'm just gonna go for it, because like it's worth the heartbreak. I think she's worth the heartbreak, even if it doesn't work out, because she's amazing. So I never felt that before. And then I was like, hey, look, this is just how I feel. I'm just being open with you. I wasn't trying to play games, wasn't trying to, and clearly. And so told her I loved her, and then I just kept saying it, like,
kept pursuing
hey,
her.
I love you. Even though I wasn't really expecting her to say it back. Like, it wasn't like fishing or anything. I was just like, I love you. Like, and bye, see you later. And so I just kept saying it for probably about 2 weeks. And then like one day we were hanging out, and right before we left, Jade was like,
working herself up.
I'm like, man, I should have really said it when he said it, so that I don't have to have my own.
I have something to tell you. And I'm like, I can't read your mind. Like, I kind of knew, I kind of figured
that was kind of classic.
I kind of figured it was coming, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna wait.
You gonna let her squirm.
Like, you're gonna do this.
Yeah.
Oh my
I'm not gonna help you.
Yes. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, so needless to say, all the prophetic words definitely came to pass, and it reference to once you find him, that everything would escalate really fast. And so you guys think you have a full second year.
Right.
And you going into January, y'all planning for mission trips, and y'all had all this stuff going. Y'all had already gone on a mission trip to Brazil, and then y'all were getting ready to do 2 separate ones, and COVID happened. And so that kind of sent everything in a tailspin of the ministry, school, and everything, the world, So then all of a sudden, it was on lockdown, and especially you guys came home.
Yeah.
And so when you came home, we all think you're coming home just for COVID, and Jess came home with a mission,
Yeah.
And so needless to say, you were engaged and married back to back.
So we were
literally
engaged for 6 months, and we're engaged for 3. So a total of 9 months.
Yes. And so it was a joy of literally planning a wedding in COVID and back and forth. But it was really beautiful. You have a lot of family here, all of our family, and a lot of people that really believe, and people all over where you have been and before in Tennessee, and all your friends all over the place for both of you, and especially all the people that you met in Redding, California at Bethel. Really fell in love with you and believed in the call of God on your life. And so it was exciting to celebrate that, no matter COVID or not, it's just, we wanted to make sure that you could start your life together. So then that kind of all came with the whirlwind, because a month later, crazy hurricane happened here in our city that devastated our community.
Yeah.
And so
One thing, like, I think I was talking to somebody about this the other day, but all that time, 2020 was like surrounded by tragedy, but there was just beauty, and like the world stopped that year, and we got to spend so much. And so, yeah, that 9 months of total, dating engagement, 3 months engagement. You say that to people nowadays or before COVID, and they're like, "Wow, that's lightning fast." But I was like, dude, think about it. Like, when the world is shut down, you spend your majority of the day, week together.
Right.
And so you learn a lot. I mean, the math is the same hours wise, to somebody who hangs out on the evenings, on weekends.
Exactly.
But anyway, so that was something beautiful that came out of the ashes
Absolutely.
of all that tragedy. But
just like what I loved, just the merging of your life together, and even in just a few months later, then you're already starting your family, you and so now we're 5 years you've been married, and
5.5.
you have four babies, and but your family grew quickly, but you knew that's what you had planned for, and these were not surprises. Like you had planned for your family, and you knew you wanted to have a big family, and so I wanted to kind of segue a little. We're going to circle back to that in a minute, but so spiritually, I want to ask a couple of questions. So, Jade, I know you were raised in church all your life. And but I really wanted to hear, when did you really fully surrender, on your own, where this is your personal relationship with the Lord, and where it really started impacting you on a daily basis?
I was in 6th grade, and like you said, I'd gotten saved really young at 4 years old, and I feel like I knew what I was signing up for. Like I knew I was saying yes to Jesus. I had that understanding. But I feel like God became real to me in 6th grade, and that it was that 6th grade, going into my 6th grade year. So that summer before, I remember I think I was doing like a cheer camp and maybe a few different things, but there was this red bunk bed that you guys had gotten for Ernest in our like sunroom on Seth Lane. And I remember I really liked that top bunk. And so for some reason, that is the picture in my mind when I think of that summer before 6th grade where God met me, was on that top bunk. And I just remember like wanting to read my Bible, and I wanted to seek the Lord for myself. And I don't know, I think it was just years of building up, and I think it was just the timing of the Lord. And I don't know, he just met me. Like there was no specific thing that he said to me or like a certain encounter I had. I just met him in his word. And I will always think back to that moment, that is what propelled me. And that's what started building like my history with him.
Yeah. I remember when you were younger and reading the word to you at night, or praying with you and stuff. And then you would say, I don't like reading, you read it to me, you do this. And I kept saying, Jade, like, you're going to have to make this decision yourself, like to read, and you're old enough now that you can read. And I said, but I started praying over you that you become a lover of his word. And that you would love to read, and you may not do it now, but praying that over you, that you would become a lover yourself of this word. And boy, it did. Yeah. That you really got it. And so
you would ask me to pray that God would give me a desire to read. I remember that specific thing, and I did.
Yeah. And then you started singing really early in church. So how old roughly were you?
I mean, always like real young in like choirs and stuff at church or school, but 6th grade.
Yeah. Wow. And
I joined the adult choir at 6th grade. Wow. I was the youngest one in the choir.
Yeah. And it was really awesome that they allowed you to do that too. And so that was really, and they really poured into you.
They did.
Of just really learning the heart of worship. And so, and then in the youth as well, and that was just continued over of leading worship in the youth department. And so what I love about that is because worship became a lifestyle for you and not just something you did. So how do you really feel like worship molded you at such a young age?
I think just I found I just felt so at home in God's presence, and like the time I just referred to, reading his word, I felt so at home, and that's where I just felt like I belonged there. And I did, I'm a child of God, so I belong in his presence. But that's how worship felt for me too. And it was just another way, another form that I could connect with God through music, through singing. It's obviously not the only way we worship, but that was where I just felt so free. I was able to express, you're able just to express your heart in a very passionate way through singing and worship. And so that's
awesome.
kind of where that started.
So Jess, you've been raised in church all your life, and as well, and you come from generations of a legacy of pastors. Right. So how was that, just being raised in?
So I mean, even daycare was at the church, and so kind of like what my kids or what our kids experience now. But even daycare was at the church with Bible stories, and then of course we're there Sundays more than anybody, and that's when we had Wednesday church too. So our life kind of revolved around church, which I actually loved. And so I knew all the Bible stories, I knew all the things. I'd been up for the salvation call who knows how many times, like from as the youngest, I could think of, earliest memories. I'll say this, I've always believed in Jesus as the Lord and the only way, the truth, and the life. I've always believed that from my earliest memories. And my parents did a great job of teaching, what all surrounds that, how to live a life in that way. So from my earliest memories, as best as I had understanding and maturity for, I gave my heart to Jesus. And then I hit middle school, public middle school, and that's when kind of the world is
Real challenge your faith, for sure.
Yeah. And so constantly being around people who didn't follow the Lord, and so whether it was on football team or school or whatever, and so eventually there began this these choices of there's grace. You know what I'm saying? That that lie that that the devil sells to you.
Yeah.
There's grace, so you can do whatever you want. And so that there's a whole timeline that ended. I actually stopped drinking heavily. I stopped partying, drinking before I turned 21. And
wow.
So, that was when everything stopped at 20 years old. But all that to say, from, I don't know, older school age to about 20 years old, I just believed this lie that it's fine. There's grace. And even though I felt conviction, I had buried it under so much believing deception. And so I don't know how to explain it other than I always believed in Jesus. But I was not following him.
Yeah.
And so then God started. Sorry, did you have a question?
No, it's good.
God started teaching me about cause and effect. I knew that the Bible said this, but I kind of want to do my own way. Well, I started learning that God gives these commands for a reason, for my betterment, not just because he said so and he's trying to be a dictator. No, this is for me, for my betterment. And so I started learning the cause and effect, and I learned that, anything that comes from the devil always has a hook in it. No transaction with darkness is for free. There's always a hook in it. Oh, it's just it's just a little bit of this. It's just a little bit. No, there's always a hook in it. There's always some type of transaction being made. And so, anyways, long story short, I had this moment where decision after decision, repercussion after repercussion, and I just felt empty at the end of myself. Clearly I am not doing something right, because on the outside, I feel like I have everything taken care of, everything I need. And it was just like a light bulb went off, and God had sent, some mentors. God had made like some divine setups at the moment. He knew I was going to be the lowest, and all that to say, I met some amazing people, and the flip side or the other side of the coin of transformation. Obviously, we have the renewing of our mind through the Word. The flip side of that is community.
Yeah.
Because bad company corrupts good morals.
That's
and so
right.
I got surrounded with some community that was heading in the way, following the Lord with all their heart. I know this is a long answer, so I'll wrap it up. But all it to say, I found myself on my knees during this time, and I was like, all right, God, I'm done with me. Like, I messed this up. I'm done with me. I'll give you everything. And so went on a long fast, and I told myself, like, I wouldn't listen to secular music. If you're walking into Walmart or whatever, a store, like, I'm not going to close my ears. But if I can control it.
Don't be weird.
Like, if I can control it, like, I'm not going to watch TV by myself. I'm not going to listen to secular music by myself. And I had some other rules too, and fasting, food, and other things. And so just really diving into the Lord, leaning on Him. God, strip away everything that isn't of you.
Yeah, like kill the flesh.
Kill the flesh.
Yeah.
And so there were a few habits that stuck a little bit, but it was not long until they came off. And so, but for the most part, I was a completely different human being, like a light switch turned.
Wow.
And so, just there was a full surrender.
Yeah.
I'd always believed in the Lord, but then there was this moment where it was like, God,
He became real to you.
yes, like, you are real, and I will give you everything. I will die for this.
Yeah. And He just really shook you in that moment, and you totally detoxed and just fully surrendered. That's for sure. Yeah. Jade, I know you went to college, and so where'd you go to college, and what did you study?
I went to Lee University. Well, I went to LSU for a year and then transferred to Lee University in Cleveland, Tennessee, and studied. I had quite a few different majors, but we landed on pastoral ministries with a minor in church music.
Yeah. So, just curious of your college years and seeking the Lord, and what do you feel like from your younger years into your college years of more maturity and more exposure to different things? What do you feel like the Lord was really teaching you in that season of your life?
Well, I look back at that time and I just think, the Lord was just teaching me about who I was. So many, it's true for anybody in that time frame of your life from, middle school to high school to college age to adult life, you're just learning who you are. Like your 20s and, obviously before that, your foundation is setting, like, what kind of woman do I want to be? What kind of person do I want to be?
What do I really believe, too?
Yeah, what do I
your
believe?
principles and your values, they get some roots. Especially
Especially in college, because I moved away and then, went to Lee while we were living in Tennessee together. But, I'm on my own.
Yeah.
I'm going to school by myself. I'm making decisions. I'm picking my friends. They're not, we're not like forced to be friends with people. You get to pick. And so I feel like a lot of those years were just the Lord kind of settling in like who I was. And
I wanted to ask a few things about family and marriage because what do you really feel that in your life now, being married 5 years and a big family, what do you feel like are the daily that you're hearing even among your peers? Like what are young married families that serve the Lord, what are some of the things that they're dealing with and some things that God is helping you with in this season?
Yeah, I can start. I think just a lot of our peers have a bunch of kids like us. So when you have a bunch of little kids, then your time obviously goes to them. surplus of your energy goes to them. And so your life definitely looks completely different than it did before kids.
Right.
There's a lot less freedom, to just go out and about, do things. And so all that to be said, I feel like kind of the struggle that I've dealt with that other young dads have dealt with was just like, man, like I'm not out doing all these hobbies or this or that. Like I'm not out necessarily conquering stuff. Like, what's my purpose and all these things. And so, because you feel just like, no, you go to work, you go to church, and then you get your butt home and you
Come in with these kids.
And so, all that to be said, it feels like kind of a hiding season,
Yeah.
And so you're very much committed to your family, your children, your wife, and the responsibility of going to work, providing, and serving the church. And so you are not the the face of things. And so all that to be said, there's been such an amazing invitation, and I've sort of talked to some friends about this, but there's just a great invitation, and I think everything points back to this, what Jade was saying as she waited, for marriage. Like, during this time, guess what? You go to the Lord for affirmation.
Yeah.
You go to the Lord for fulfillment, for purpose, for motivation. And even though, nobody's like, yeah, great job, you just changed a diaper, you just went to work on a Tuesday. Awesome. Nobody's really doing
I
that.
know. When you made a touchdown or you did,
Oh,
everybody's cheering you on, but day in and day out.
Like that, but you go to the Lord and he speaks to you, my son, I'm pleased with you. Like, I have this for you. Here's my heart for you. Here's, and so I think that's just what God's been speaking to me and some other friends. And so that would be a focus.
Yeah.
Just everything goes back to be fulfilled by the Lord.
Right.
Lean on the Lord.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you, Jay?
I think, in this culture, a lot of what, I see on social media or just hear from, people, there's such a lie that is like sent out from, social media, obviously from the enemy at the core, but it's that thing you were talking about, hobbies. Not that hobbies are bad. Okay. They're wonderful. But I think the lie is in culture is that you need a hobby. You need something outside of your family to find fulfillment, to actually like feel like you're still a human and not just a parent or not just someone who goes to work. And like I said, hobbies are wonderful, and those extra things are great. Like, they can be totally wonderful for you, but the lie is that you need that to have fulfillment. You need that to like be a whole person. And I just think the Lord's like, hey, but what about me? Like, what if you let me in when you're washing dishes? Like, let's not start making those mundane things so mundane. Like, let me in on that. Like, and I'm not saying we do this perfectly, but I do feel like what you said, an invitation from the Lord to, because I'm home with the kids, I'm homeschooling. I mean, we're like neck deep in this thing, okay? Our oldest is 4, our baby is 4 months. So there's a lot of people to take care of, and sometimes it can just feel overwhelming at times and at moments where it's like, I haven't had like an adult conversation in a couple of days. I mean, yes, with Jess, but it's like, hey, can you get Cece? She's digging in the drawer. Like, can you change a diaper? Sometimes it can just feel like you're so in that. But I think not to escape from that. But let the Lord in on those moments. Like, he wants in. And so I think I'm just trying to be more intentional, like getting my time in with the Lord, because I don't realize how much I need the Lord just to call me his daughter and be like, I love you. Outside of all the other things that you're needed for and are doing in your home, that's wonderful. But like, let me wash over you so that you can do those mundane things and they can be holy unto the Lord. Because like, the truth is, like, being home with our family is really holy work.
Yeah.
Like, it's the kid,
Yes.
like, God's given us children to disciple, and we are the first people to introduce God to our children. And so it is very weighty and very holy work, even though it can be exhausting and all those
Right.
things. So it's like we hold that with intention, you know?
That's so good. Jess, how do you feel like as the head of the household, you know, the covering?
Yeah.
And how do you really feel like when you and Jade married, but also decided to have a family? And how did y'all come like, well, we want to keep Jesus as the center, no matter what, like no matter whatever happens in our lives surrounding that we don't have any control over or whatever, but we're going to love the Lord and we're going to raise our children
Yeah.
for the Lord. So where do you feel like that weighty responsibility
Yeah.
of that?
I feel like that came really naturally because we went to ministry school together. Like we met in such a place of like, we're choosing to go across the US, across the nation. And I just have met very few people who have wanted to do that. And so we've, I guess, deposited or how do I say this? Like committed so much of our lives to this separately, individually.
Yeah.
And then that was in our dating. That was in our engagement. That was in our wedding.
Yeah.
And so I feel like we did the hard work up front,
That's awesome.
individually, in dating, in engagement, in marriage. And so by the time we had kids, they just kind of got in line with
Yeah.
that. They became, and so
It came from our personal commitment.
exactly, yeah, exactly,
That's so good.
exactly.
Outside
That's
of-
so
So
good.
so it came from personal commitment. It comes from personal relationship with the Lord. Currently, I can tell when I have less grace. I've probably not recognized like the goodness of God more that day. I've probably recognized more of, just how tired I am or whatever.
Right.
And so the answer to that question would be it came from a personal individual relationship with God, and it is still sourced by that every day.
I love it.
So we don't have like reading plans. We don't, as far as like discipleship with the kids, but by the way we live, and we do read the Bible to our kids and stories, and we pray with them and we worship with them. And so, yeah, it just comes out of our overflow.
I love that.
Yeah.
So good. I know communication is critical to every relationship, much less a marriage, parenting, everything. So what would you just say, like, your communication style? Like, how does that work with the two of you?
Between us,
Yeah.
communication, it's gotten a lot better.
It has. I feel like we've gotten better each year that goes by.
So I'm more
We have to
spontaneous.
communicate.
I'm more spontaneous, and Jade's more of probably a homebody. Yeah, I feel like that's fair.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And so I was notorious for just committing to things and being like, yeah, of course, Jade's going to come with me, or like, we've got to be free. So it's taken a lot of growth. We now share a Google Calendar, and so it's,
Also, we have 4 kids, so it's like you really have to put it on the calendar.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I mean,
So-
sometimes I miss it, Yeah.
Obviously, we've always respectfully communicated to each other, but as far as like life communication,
Yeah, we've
we've
grown a
gotten
lot.
a lot better. That was pretty much the point of all of our problems.
Well, that's the two becoming one. You know, like
Yeah.
just because you say I do,
Yeah.
that's a forever journey of the two becoming one, really becoming equally yoked, where you honor one another, you cover one another. Not everybody's going to be on their best days, and
Right,
so
right.
you, especially pregnant back to back, there's a lot of hormones kicking, and there's a lot of things going on, a lot of
Lack of sleep.
responsibility for the whole family. And I really have, and I've always told you that a million times, that I love the way you love her, and that has been huge. So and just the tenderness, just like in her overwhelmed that you cover her well,
Yeah.
but also she honors you so well. Like she always says, like, he's the nicest person I know. I could spend every single moment with him. And that's just not usually heard of in the first 5 years of marriage. And, two becoming one is a whole merging process. And I think that's been really beautiful.
I think the motive behind our good communication is we believe the best about each other.
Yeah.
Like, the enemy will try to, say like, she meant to do that or whatever. But
She meant to do that.
she knew I wanted to go. We've had
true.
We've had some moments, but like the majority of it is like I know she didn't mean it that way.
Wow.
I know, like believing the person I married believes the best about me, and I'm going to believe the best about her.
love that.
And so having communication come out of that place and not like, I'm going to critique every word you said and take it, but like.
And I noticed that, like, if I'm ever in that place where I'm like, I'm starting to get bugged by like this thing and that thing. And then it's like, once you're bugged, you start seeing every little thing through that lens of like, you didn't take out the trash and you left your socks on the floor again. Listen, those are real things, but
Little dig there.
no, but,
Believe the best.
but even in those things, it's like, I think our heart to communicate is for the sake of connection, because we know that when we are not connected, then everything is out of sync.
Yeah.
Like we're missing each other. We're doing two separate things, and it's like, wait, we just need a connection point. We should like talk things out, and not necessarily like, hey, these are all the things I'm seeing that you're doing wrong. Like that's not the way we approach it, but just like, you just communicate for the sake of connection.
Right.
What would you say to someone that's in the waiting period, whether they're young waiting or they're older waiting, no matter where they are in their lives and what they've been through, but they're praying and seeking the Lord? How would you encourage them the importance of the waiting?
Yeah.
Be the person. Are we talking about marriage? Okay. Be the person that you need to be married.
Yeah.
Like, become that person right now.
That's good.
So many people, I feel like you can easily think, oh, well, practical things like, oh, I'll learn to cook when I'm married, or I'll learn how to clean a house or clean my space when I'm married, or deal with my emotional world when I'm married, when I have someone to help me. And it's like, oh no, like you need to do that right now so that you get to come into a marriage giving. There's going to be plenty you're going to learn, plenty you're going to fail at and need to grow in, but do the hard work up front, how Jess was saying. And I'm not saying that we did that perfectly. We did the best we knew how.
Yeah.
And we had people around us. Like I had you and other mentors and friends that are ahead of me and were teaching me things, and leaning on mentors, like lean into good community and allow people to show you, like go to a married couple that you really admire, and go to them and say, what are some things that you would encourage me to do right now as I'm waiting? And how can I be a wholehearted woman, a wholehearted man, fully devoted to the Lord and fully devoted to whoever God brings my path?
That's
like,
good.
start learning those practical things, spiritual things, emotional. I think there's a big part of marriage that you need to be able to learn how to deal with your emotions.
Yeah.
Because there are moments that you're going to be frustrated. You're going to be angry. It's situations. Just life happens. How do you deal with those things? Like, do you go to the Lord or do you veg out on shows or your phone or whatever? Like, how are you processing pain? How do you process frustration?
Right.
Like, learn to do those things healthy right now as best as you know how, so that when God sends you the man or woman He's made for you, you're ready. Yeah. You're ready to give.
Jess, I wanted just ask if you came across someone and someone's just, they're struggling in their marriage and they have a family and they have everything to fight for, but they're having their own struggle. Like, how would you encourage them, and what would you say?
Yeah, the first thing that comes to my mind is get around brothers, the right men, and because sometimes when you're going your way and there's a certain normal that you're used to, you don't recognize the things, the issues that are currently you have, and so sometimes a brother, a pastor, a mentor, a leader, somebody, you need to be able to trust somebody's feedback.
Yeah.
And so, I would say, like, being in a place of dysfunction is not God's plan for you. It's not God's best for you. And so attack it. Put your pride aside, be a man, and just go to your friend or go to good leadership, peers, people you trust with feedback, and dive into the Lord like never before. And just like, I feel like I say this to the Lord at least once a week, just like, God, search me, show me anything that is not of you.
Yeah.
I want it out, because that little seed can grow. And so, like, a lot of guys deal with, like, well, this is, I think maybe pride. Like, I'm afraid to kind of admit I'm wrong. I'm afraid to go down this path. But it's like, no, that is not God's best. And you need to attack that. Like, it is life and death.
Intentionally.
Because it is life and death. And not only that, but you're leading your wife and your children. And so your actions, you're passing on what you don't deal with.
Yeah. That's right.
And so deal with it. It is worth dealing with it. Even though in the moment, in the weeks, in the days, whatever, it is worth attacking and dealing with it. Even though in a short time, yes, it's painful, but on the other side of it, the freedom, the impact it makes on others around you is
And the fruit
beyond worth it. Yeah,
Right.
the fruit that comes on the other side of the pain of dealing, acknowledging with it. And so it is so worth attacking it, because it's always fearful to take that first step of, like, admitting you're wrong and kind of looking under the rug after so many years of sweeping junk under it. It's like, no, just go for it, because the more you sweep stuff under the rug, the bigger that pile grows, and the more catastrophic it'll be later. I'm not trying to spread fear, but it's way worth dealing with your stuff.
Jade, what would you share to a woman that they're struggling in their marriage and to encourage them to fight?
I would say just, like, get in a place of prayer where you can see, like, the vision that God has for your family, and see a peek into what God sees for the future of your family. I find that, like, when I have a vision of what I want to see, like, God gave me a vision of Roman when he was still growing in my belly. And I remember God showed me this vision of him at, like, 16, and he was just praying on the microphone. He was just such a man of passion and power. And this is just an example, but that's really held me in some scary health moments that we had with him early on. And I think it's the same for your family if you allow the Lord, because he sees something really beautiful for your family. And, like, letting yourself see that, and waiting and sitting with the Lord, and you wait until he shows you. Yeah. Because he does have something really wonderful that he wants you to see, so that you can buy into that. And then you pray into that. From that place of faith, and, like, and just really believing God, and not allowing the enemy to come in and and speak otherwise. Like you just snuff out that fear and snuff out those lies. Like immediately, I'm reminded of the scripture in Song of Solomon where it says, catch the little foxes, the ones that will destroy the vineyard, like the vineyard of love that God has made between, you and him and you and your family. Catch those little things, those little lies that come, that little bit of fear that wants to creep in, like shut that door.
Yes.
And like, even just like, going before the Lord, repent. Like repentance is like the gateway to freedom.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's
God,
not,
what is that
and
thing?
it's not all that finger pointing,
Yeah.
but yet just both go to in repenting
Yes.
to the Lord.
Because it is easy. I think it's like human nature to point and make blame, have someone to blame, something to blame. And I think the Lord is just like, you know what? What about you? Like, take the log out of your own eye.
Yeah.
What are areas that maybe you're contributing to this that you are so blinded by because you just see the other person?
Yeah.
And that's something I feel like the Lord is even just talking to me about. It's so easy to be like, oh, I see that, I see this. And the Lord's like, hey, but look at you.
Yeah.
Like, all that to be said is, if you're walking through, any kind of struggle in your family, in any relationship in your life, get a vision for what God has, and then just
So
go
good.
after it.
Go to
and
that.
believe.
Go to the Lord for that prophetic word.
Yes.
That is the power of
Yeah.
the prophetic word.
Yeah.
It is knowing, like, okay, God revealed this. That I'm going to stand on that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
That's so good. How do you really feel like? Because you have to do it on purpose, is to keep the love alive, the love alive, alive in the marriage. With the busyness of young children, family, working, career, like the whole 9 yards. Keeping the love alive and fanning the flame. And I know y'all do a really, really, really good job of continuing to plan for date nights and y'all really fight for your time together. And I think you do it really diligently. It's very impressive that you want to be alone and you want to spend good quality time together. So how do you feel like that's really helped you in your marriage?
Oh, man.
well, sleep training our children has been the biggest blessing. Because we
To
can,
tell you the
This
truth.
is not an endorsement,
this,
but
I mean,
been
we
really
have the
helpful for us.
freedom every single evening to spend time together to talk,
Yeah.
and so that has been a huge factor in like, our connection and so
we can thank Kelsey for that.
yeah.
She encouraged us.
Your best friend.
That's right. To sleep train. This is obviously everybody has their own belief about that, but we have just seen so much fruit in that, and it's our time to be able to like connect and talk every evening, and like we can count on that.
Yeah.
And that's been
So not just a date night,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
every night.
Yeah, every
Yes.
night we look forward to that time that it could be 30 minutes, it could be an hour, but it's like we get to like hang out, we get to talk, we can watch something if we want to. There's just it's just our way to like have downtime after the evening, after a long day.
And I guess to answer your question, we talk about our day. We sometimes talk about the future. What are we dreaming about? Like,
Yeah.
always talk about our kids because they're funny. And so like,
Awesome.
I think just like being present, dreaming about the future. But I think we've gotten to the point now where we pretty much tell each other like every detail of the day. And obviously like, some people would hear that and they're like, that's kind of a lot. But what that does for us is we just always kept the door open for 100% communication. And
Yeah.
so that sows into our building communication, good communication. And so
But I see that even with your children, like asking them things.
yeah, how was your
And
day?
yes, and that y'all are used to dialoguing even as a family,
right.
and that their voice matters,
Right.
and teaching them of good, healthy communication, even like the way that you discipline the children, to how they treat one another. And I think that's really, really important. So it's not you honor women and that you raise Roman to honor the
Right.
girls, and they honor each other and respect each other,
Right.
And I feel like that's really powerful to teach at a young age,
Thank you.
It's really awesome.
They communicate so much. I was just laughing thinking about this, but we were at dinner last night and we were just it's our pizza movie night on Friday nights. And so we were at the table and we were just asking Roman all kinds of questions. He finally said,
He has a limit.
"No more questions, please."
Probably
We were like, oh, I guess we were like really trying to dig it out of him. He's like, I just want to eat my pizza, okay? Like, I don't want to answer.
He has a talking limit.
I love it.
He is like, if y'all aren't going to talk, then I'm
I'll
going to
just say
sing
stuff.
at the
Oh,
top
yeah.
of my voice.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. And and I think this just kind of sets the tone for or kind of reveals our communication style. But probably every month I'll just ask Roman, like, hey, what's your favorite color? Like, just curious, has it changed? Like, what's your favorite animal? And just like, I think when me and him are sitting or fishing or whatever, I kind of do this thing where I'm like, oh, we're both guys, I can stop talking. And he'll be totally silent, but I'm like, I need to consciously like make an effort to connect with my son, because both he and I, when we're around each other, we can just like, like have that like silent guy, communication.
I love that.
Just always being curious.
Yeah. So I'm just going to wrap up with this. I know that, Jade, it's always been your heart and your passion of worship. And you always wanted to, in your prayer, is to pray for a husband that could lead worship with you. And you shared that passion together. And I feel like that's like been really beautiful to see some prayers come to pass, but also to be able to serve the Lord and worship together, and whether you're doing it at home with your family or whether you're doing it at church or wherever. And so I was just curious from both of you, how has that really impacted your life, like being able to do that together?
I think it's just another way that we can obviously connect together, because it's like, music is its own language. Like, there is just a language that is spoken through music. I don't know. It's just, it is what it is. But I think it's really sweet to be able to do that together. And then obviously, because it's worship unto the Lord, we get to then connect together with the Lord in that way. I think that's been really sweet. And just to include the kids in on that, where they're learning how to worship the Lord through us, like worshiping and stuff like that. So that's been really such a blessing to watch and just kind of see unfold.
Yeah. And I feel like we've had some powerful moments in our own home. So that's kind of been the impact of it as well. And just getting to serve in that capacity together. Obviously right now it's harder to do because one of us is typically watching kids if the other is leading worship at church or something. But it's just been beautiful to serve the Lord, to do that together. But also, I think growing up, like my dad leads worship, but I never saw a ton of I never knew any male singers really. You know what I mean? And especially outside of church, like guys didn't like express themselves in that way. And so I knew adult ministers sang, but like in the real world, it was like, guys don't really do that. And so I'm really excited to see Roman. He has a great voice, a great ear for music, and a drummer too, can keep tempo pretty well. And so I'm just excited to draw that out of him and the girls and Vinny, and just really steward and cultivate that. Let that be a normal thing and not like that's only for ministers,
right?
Or, but
a lifestyle too.
Is a lifestyle, and it is a way. And we've been watching, the story of David, and I'm like, dude, that is a way you connect with the Lord. Right. And so just raising them up in that way as well.
I love that. Well, I really appreciate y'all's time and just be able to share in your heart. Let us have a little sneak peek of your world and your day, but more importantly, of just how y'all have brought your own personal encounters and really bond it
Yep.
together equally yoked and saying, hey, we're going to serve the Lord, and that there's a wall that protecting that you have helped drew the line around your family, that we're in this thing for the long haul, and that we're going to be, cover one another and invest in our family and our children. And it's been really amazing to see fully committed, but yet healing and growing and seeing God do great and mighty things in your life. And even your children. So I think it's really sweet to see the overflow into the kids and how they are responding to the Lord and to the presence of God and the tenderness already,
And you've been a big factor to all that as
Yeah,
well.
you have.
Oh, well, all of our family is so good, because you have all your family here. We have ours. And so it's been so much fun doing that together, all of us together, definitely partnering. But again, thank you. And I'm excited to see just the purpose and the destiny come alive in both of your lives. So
Thank you.